So I've put those on the shrine to kind of mark the occasion. So today's session is going to be short. It will be about an hour. We may go a little bit over, but I don't think by much, just to make sure we can fit all of the transmissions in. So Geshe-la is going to be giving the transmission of the Lamso Namsum, the three principal aspects of the path, as well as it's called the name mantra, but it's more like a name praise, I would say, to Shakyamuni Buddha, along with the common mantra, Tayata Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Soha. And then there'll be the Migtsema and the short mantra transmission of Lama Tsongkhapa. So that is the plan for today. And I just wanted to, Manoshi sent out like a lovely card as part of our newsletter, but I just wanted to thank everybody who, contributed at various points of Geshe-la's immigration process here in Canada, and he received his citizenship last Tuesday, and we were able to apply for a passport yesterday. So huge game changer for him in terms of freedom of movement and rights here in Canada. So really something to celebrate, and thank you to everyone who helped with that. And if you helped the center, you helped with that also. So really thank you so much to everybody. And it was really nice to bring that journey to completion with a really good result. So tomorrow we will have class as usual on the stages of meditation and the Bhakti praise to Avalokiteshvara. And then the following weekend, I will be away. I will be in the United States for about a week. So we will have a weekend off, but I will actually be translating for Geshe Sonam's uncle there. So we will put some details in terms of what's happening there if you would like to be following events there. And then the following weekend, we will be back. On the 8th, the commentary for the 5 deity chakra samvara is starting. And on the 9th, we will have the stages of meditation. So sorry, first weekend in August, stages of meditation. Second weekend in August, 8th and 9th, we'll have the 5 deity chakra samvara. And then the following day also stages of meditation. And on the 9th, if you're local, we'll be having a little gathering at the center, maybe tea and coffee and snacks, maybe a lunch. We haven't decided yet, just to mark the celebration of Geshe-la's citizenship. So I really want to, from the bottom of my heart, thank everybody for making that possible. And I will stop nattering now, and we'll invite Geshe-la down and get started.
We can try bumping it up a little bit, but then it gets distorted. Hey, Kedripla, are you there yet? Hey, Kedripla. Could you increase the master volume slightly?
Sorry?
Could you increase the master volume on the Prosonas? Can you just slightly?
How much?
I don't know. 15 minutes on a clock. Not much.
15 minutes. Okay, gotcha.
Not even an hour, right?
All right.
Just a little bit. Maybe half hour.
How's that?
It's not bad. People are saying it's a little quiet compared to the past couple of weeks. It's true. It's not quite as loud.
Shall I adjust it then slightly on the two mic ones?
No, the master is all you need to do.
Okay.
You just bump that one up slightly.
Well, I did that, so.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Is there any difference?
Maybe. As long as there's no distortion.
I don't want to sit down until we're sure there's a difference. Otherwise, it's musical chairs.
I think it's better, Pedro. I think it's better now.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's better than it was.
Does it need to be up anymore?
No, I think it's good.
I think it's
good? Okay. Yeah, no, if it does, like if you can't hear, obviously tell me. And
still not distorting, which is good. We got a thumbs
Yeah,
up from
no,
Steve.
I know that was irritating people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. It's it's good exercise for me, but basically the problem is I have too much stuff in front of me, little tables with all the different papers on it for the teaching that I navigate around. It's like an obstacle course. All right, so loso again. So can everyone hear Geshe-la? We'll do a sound check. How's that?
Yeah, a little soft. Maybe can you bring the microphone closer? Yes, please.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Okay.
Is it okay?
Still maybe a bit soft, to be honest.
Is that okay or not, guys? Just
I would turn it up. Since it's transmission, let's just turn it up a little bit more. I'm sorry. It's really hard to tell.
You want me to turn up his mic or the main one?
Master.
Okay. How's that?
Okay, let's go.
Tetsuna.
Yeah, okay.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So greetings, Tashidele, happy Chökhor Düchen to all. So on this day, we mark an important occasion, an important anniversary from the Buddha's life. And in terms of all of the various holy deeds, all of the kind of festivals commemorating those, we could say that this is sort of the supreme of those. It is the supreme of those. And so all of the holy beings are in general agreement about one principle, which is that in terms of the holy actions of the Buddha, right, the holy actions of his speech are the most significant, more important than the actions of his holy body, for example. So we know that the Buddha, for 3 incalculable eons, accumulated merit, that he practiced, cultivated the path, and that he did all of this specifically for the purpose of leading beings to moksha, to liberation from suffering. And the Buddha himself said also, remember, that I cannot transfer my realization to you, to other beings. All I can do is to proclaim, to teach the path to liberation that you yourselves must follow. So the main way to achieve the fruits of a practice is by relying upon the path. And of course, the way that we come to understand the path upon which we must rely and cultivate is through the Buddha's holy speech. So on this occasion, then, we should recollect this and think, how fortunate it is that the Blessed One turned the Dharma wheel, and that the information from the turning of the Dharma wheel is still available to us. Lamson yimba. Yeah. So Geshe said we'll do a short recitation. I think, Dave, probably just the one we normally do. So the short praise to the Buddha and the mandala offering, and then we'll do the bodhisattva vows, and following that, the various transmissions. So Dave, I'm going to. Okay, so. It's sound for musicians now. Also, what I'll do is I will, when Geshe is teaching, I'll turn that off. I'll try to toggle that to give the best sound experience. All right. sorry, I don't know why that happened. Anyways, again. Tumba chom den de de jin she ba ja chom ba yang da ba zo be sang ge she ba dang shab su dem ba de wa she ba jik den gem ba ke bu du we ka lo gyor wa la na me ba la dang mi nam gi tem ba sang ge chom den de pe ja wa sha kya tu ba la cha ze lo che de kya zu ji ho tem ba chom den de de jin she ba ja chom ba yang da ba zo pe sang ge je ba dang sha su dem ba de wa she ba je den jem ba je bu du we ka lo jor wa la na me ba la dang mi nam gi tem ba sang ge chom den de pe ja wa sha kya tu ba la cha ze lo che de kya zu ji ho tem ba chom den de de jin she ba ja chom ba yang da ba zo pe sang ge je ba dang sha su dem ba de wa she ba je den jem ba che bu du we ka lo jor wa la na me ba la dang mi nam gi tem ba sang ge chom den de pe ja wa sha kya tu ba la cha ze lo che de kya zu chi ho. And we'll do a short mandala. Saji begi joji meto chan jija linji ni de gyamba di sangi jindu me de buwa gi joko nanda jinla je ba sho idam guru ratnam mendala ka niryata yami. Refuge and bodhicitta. Chedang sogi chenam lai jangshu badu dani kyao su chi dagi chenyen gi pe sonam gi jola penjir sangi jo ba sho. Chedang sogi chenam lai jangshu badu dani kyao su chi dagi chenyen gi pe sonam gi jola penjir sangi jo ba sho. Chedang sogi chenam lai jangcho bardu dani kyao su chi dagi chenyen gi pe sonam gi jola penjir sangi jo ba sho.
Oya ta ga de na yin an zo ta ge
So whenever we engage in a Dharma activity or practice, in order for this to become the supreme type of practice, then we must have in place the practices of refuge and generating the Bodhi mind. And so then in terms of the practice of bodhicitta, then the bodhisattva vows that we are going to take today, we understand that these are the full expression of bodhicitta, which is the very heart of the Buddha's teaching, something we need to cultivate. So then in order to kind of have the refuge and bodhicitta in place as the basis for receiving these vows, we want to take time to visualize the objects of refuge. And specifically, the most important one to visualize is the teacher Buddha Shakyamuni. Yeah, so just take a moment to visualize the Buddha. So how we do this is we dissolve our ordinary environment into emptiness, and then we imagine that from that sphere of emptiness, in the space in front of us appear 8 snow lions. These 8 snow lions are holding up a Dharma throne. Upon this Dharma throne are the cushions of lotus, sun, and moon. And then upon this beautiful seat, we imagine that Buddha Shakyamuni appears.
Tela ta tso tso ba kora jani la tane pendu chinde la so ba jaga pendu kanji chi na ta kora jani yo so ba chi.
And we can imagine, right, that there are other figures surrounding the Buddha. We can extend the visualization of the field of refuge with, for example, the 17 Panditas of Nalanda and the other great realized Indian Panditas.
Chiji kange ta o ta chi to ma kanga yo te no ji kora jani yo so ba chi.
And we can imagine that beyond this field of the great Panditas are all of the realized gurus from Tibet.
Dona Lama yo to sunji sho se po kanju kandya pa kone yo ba chi.
And we can imagine also, extending further, that the field of refuge includes all of the lamas, yidams, buddhas, bodhisattvas, dakinis, and enlightened wisdom dharma protectors.
Tri je de de ya ga ta le ka zo chi de so so zo nda wo zo ne ndo wa yo zo me no ba chi so so ndo la yo ndo yo so ba chi.
And before we engage in this holy activity through which we hope to accomplish the welfare of others, we should imagine that seated with us, gazing up towards the field of refuge, are all 6 types of sentient beings within samsara, but possessing human form.
Jiba jedu jiba le chowa te ta sha yi te da le nipa cha su yo te yi za te wa chi ri ngon ne la ta re wa ja sha ja chi ri so be to ne chan ro.
So thinking that the field of refuge, because of their realization, they can definitely protect me from the 8 fears of samsara and from all suffering, I place 100% firm conviction in going for refuge to them.
Wa te do ki ta kange se ya do kange yu zu se ya ta tu de wa de ya ki che to koro so lo ju she ba no yi koro so ko pa to ba no yi ta so ji ko pa to yi so ba chi.
In order to help all sentient beings in this way, then I myself, in order to achieve that aim, I must accomplish the final enlightenment that they did. I must study and practice in the way that they did. Through this, I will become a Buddha to benefit all these beings, bring forth bodhicitta.
최고 시에도 예대용 로지 잡아지 되는데 소소용 로지 점야에서 딱 가래 이나이 된데 제토를 손바지.
Thinking the faults of the mind, positive mental qualities, and also I myself do not exist inherently, are not static. Therefore, change is definitely possible. Accomplishing this is definitely possible.
Kid reply. I'm so sorry. We could barely hear Geshe-la. Can you turn it up a bit? Yeah.
Which one?
The master on the prosonas.
The master?
Yeah.
You sure I shouldn't turn up his?
Oh yeah, I can turn up his too.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe because you're not so bad, but especially in meditation, really couldn't hear Geshe-la properly.
Yeah, no, his voice.
Yeah, I think maybe if we can just turn the musician's sound off, it will just improve. And we don't need to.
But when Geshe-la is giving transmission, sometimes he cuts out.
Oh yeah, because the transmission will sound musical. So I will try to toggle it accordingly. So I've turned everything up now. Gente sunda.
That's better.
Do you hear him?
Yeah. 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 That. Well, it was just when Geshe-la was leading meditation, we really couldn't hear what he was saying.
Oh, okay.
Much
That's
quieter
too bad.
then, right?
Could
Yeah.
you hear me at all?
Yes.
Okay. All right. No, it is nice to have him as well, but
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not there in person.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what happened because we worked on these levels
Yeah.
a lot. Dave spent a lot of time and he and I worked on them, so I'm not sure what happened. Anyways, let us proceed. Yeah. Can you hear Geshe-la? He's worried. Now he's para. Okay, good. Yeah. So then, of course, our main sort of goal in all of this, the destination that we are trying to reach, is this mind of bodhicitta, right? And a thing to think about is once we bring forth this bodhicitta, then even in a short amount of time, we can accomplish the equivalent of 3 incalculable eons of merit, even hundreds of eons of merit, just from cultivating this mind. Is that not an amazing thing? So really think about that, the power of bodhicitta, and how easily it allows us to accomplish a great collection of merit. And then when you hear 3 incalculable eons of merit to become a Buddha, you're not going to be like, oh man, and feel all discouraged about it, right? Because we can accumulate that merit very efficiently. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So if you think about it too, when you hear about the 3 incalculable eons of merit being accumulated, understand that from developing realizations, the being who became the Buddha, as he accumulated this merit, he became happier and happier and happier. And as those 3 incalculable eons of merit were unfolding and the Buddha was becoming happier and happier and happier, we were cycling through countless rebirths within samsara, experiencing problems. So that's another thing to remember. So we want to be able to accomplish those merits. We want to be happy in our life. The most efficient way to do this is bring forth bodhicitta and cultivate emptiness. And the supreme method through which we can accomplish this is receiving the bodhisattva vows. So what's going to happen is, so now I've turned the sound for your musicians off. Does that help at all? No difference, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Just curious. Yeah. This is a mystery. Anyways, so Geshe-la said what is going to happen is, and I'll turn the sound for musicians on, we're going to repeat the verse after Geshe-la. But rather than thinking that just he as the master is saying the verse and we're repeating, we should think all of the Buddhas and the bodhisattvas are saying the words before we repeat them. That makes it more powerful.
다 domba tembo도 벌써 초바 자야게 되는데 다 domba 때를 드무이 샹로치 아니 디바 강가 파종와서 아니 저도 강가 종와서 이제 이런 서거톤에 다 domba.
So in order for the vows to come out well, as part of the verse, what happens is we go for the common refuge. Then we clear away, we purify our negativities, and then we banish jealousy from our mind through the practice of rejoicing. So what I'm going to do is, just to perhaps make it meaningful for folks, I'll read out the meaning of this in English before we repeat after Geshe-la. So the meaning is something like, I take refuge in the three jewels, I confess individually all negativities, rejoice in the merit of migrating beings, hold within my mind a Buddha's enlightenment. To the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until enlightenment. To accomplish the aims of myself and others, I generate the Bodhi mind. And towards all sentient beings, my invited guests, I shall act with supreme enlightening conduct. May I become a Buddha for the benefit of all. So this is the meaning of what we will repeat after Geshe-la, and I will put the sound setting so that it is sensitive enough to pick him up. Oyagi. So repeat after Geshe-la. Kuncho sumla dachabji. Diba tamje soso sha. He's wondering if you guys are hearing. He's worried about this now. Can you guys hear? Okay, so we'll do it from the beginning with confidence. Tambonejo. Kuncho sumla dachabji. Diba tamje soso sha. So think all of the negativities accumulated since beginningless lifetimes in samsara until now. I regret these and I lay them bare. Joy gela ji rong. The Buddhas, the bodhisattvas, ordinary beings, all of their wholesome activities without the slightest trace of jealousy, I rejoice in those. Sangye jangju yigi sum. Sangye chudong zojo la. Jangju bardu dajabji. Meditate on uncommon Mahayana refuge. Rangjin denu rabdu chir. I will accomplish the aims of myself. I will accomplish the aims of others in the most perfect way through this practice. Jonshu sena chepa ji. Jonshu chogi sena sheji ni. Jonshu chogi semna cheje ni. Seje tongje dagi drendo ni. Semjen tamje dagi drendu nyer. Tando senji yo me ba ta kanga yongsu zo ba te sa so ta kende na wo ke tu yin zo kende ta. So inviting all sentient beings as my guests, this means that we have this feeling of connection, this feeling of regard and respect, just as we have for the most honored guest who we would invite to our home. Jonshu chogi semne cheje ne. Seje tongje dagi drendo ne. Semjen tamje dagi drendu nyer. Jonshu sheju yigon sheba jo. Jonshu chechu yon cheparji. Oh, sha jonshu sembi sheba yede gong ne ze yabo kanga pate toba ji zogi. Kare pate to ya. Jonshu sembi sheba. So seeing all sentient beings as attractive and beautiful in this way, I will offer them this practice of the cultivation of the bodhisattva conduct.
Drola bejo sonjin droba shu.
Drola penjir sangye droba sho.
Ole tombo sonele ni ba yonga je jidin jeba shu.
That is the first recitation. Then repeat the second recitation after the acharya.
Kenjo sala da sha jo.
Kunjo sumla da jabji.
Diba tongje so so sha.
Diba tamche so so sha.
Doi gela ji rong.
Joe gela je rang.
Suji shangju yi ji zu.
Sangye jangju yigi sung.
Suji chi dong so jo la.
Sangye chudong so cho la.
Shangju ba da sha jo.
Jangchu bardu da chabji.
Ruje tena ra de shu.
Rangjin dunu rabjub jir.
Shangju sena xie ba jo.
Jangchu sena che barji.
Shangju choke sena xie ji ne.
Jangchu choki sena che je ne.
Seche tongje da gen zhen de ne.
Semchen tamche dagi zhendu nyer.
Shangju xie zhu yi gong xie ba jo.
Jangchu checho yong che barji.
Drola bejo sonjin droba shu.
Drola penchir sangye droba sho.
Oya ta le ni pa son le sbe ta le ta shangju sembe don ba ta chen to ma nyu kisin ta ngin to ta to su pa to so. Ta to ni nyo de yo na ta nyo ba de ya. Ya po cha ni wo pu su ba cha so so ba ta.
So then this is the second recitation completed. As we do the third recitation, if you have not received the bodhisattva vows before, think that these vows have excellently been established in your mind stream. If you have received them before and they have degenerated, think any of the degeneration has been repaired and they are renewed.
O ta ngama to chani ta nga ja re tha do re. O ta tan ri tan control su ba ta chen to xie me na na ta nyo yo ma re. Tani wo ta yo. Ta shu chi wo ya ji ro ma to ka ma re.
So how do we know if the vows have degenerated or not? Well, if since taking the vows we have not experienced any jealousy of others, we have not experienced any anger, any resentment for others, then we know that they have not degenerated. But otherwise, if we've experienced those emotions, it is likely that they have. Yeah. And so Geshe is not going to dictate so whose vows haven't degenerated or not. He would never presume to do that, but you all know that yourselves.
Kenjo sala da sha jo.
Kunjo sumla da jabji.
Dipa tongje so so sha.
Dipa tamche so so sha.
Shu ji ja wa sin ji pi ka ta na sung ge yo so 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 na wo ji se yo.
So remember, especially with this last recitation, that along with the acharya, with the Lama, all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are saying this for you to repeat as well.
Doi gela ji rong.
Joe gela je rang.
Suji shangju yi ji zu.
Je jiangju yigi sung.
Suji chi dong so jo la.
Sangye chudong so cho la.
Shangju ba da sha jo.
Jiangju bardu da chabji.
Ruje tena ra de shu.
Rangjin dunye rabjub jir.
Shangju sena xie ba jo.
Jiangju sena che barji.
Shangju choke sena xie ji ne.
Jiangju choki sena che je ne.
Seche tongje da gen zhen de ne.
Senshin tangji dagi zhendu ne.
Shangju xie zhu yi gong xie ba jo.
Jiangju checho yong che barji.
Drola bejo sonjin droba shu.
Drola penchir sangye droba sho.
Nyutse di tu chise nyeshi tsaajil gewa chaban baba nuji ta toy na tandi ge to na yung to ki ge ta shungji sempe dongba tandi pusu tsuba to chu yabo shu song ba ji.
So think, I've really done well to be able to achieve these bodhisattva vows. To receive these bodhisattva vows means to receive a way that I can accumulate countless merits like a steady rainfall, 24 hours, day and night.
Sunji to shungji sempa koro song tambo tandi ji le tandi ta so so yar to ne ta ya pe par so so yu ten nuji tan to ba so gi.
So the previous Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, it was from receiving these bodhisattva vows that they themselves were able to cultivate and improve until realization. So may I do the same. So we shall pause there.
Oh ya ta ngan zo to bi ge te 생각한테 들어와.
생각.
아니
Lama Tsongkhapa Migtsema dang tsengak niga. So now we are going to go to the next part of the transmission. And so this part of the transmission, Geshe-la would like to give the mantras and the dharanis. So the first mantra is a mantra which is like a praise to the Buddha. And ngadun labnantigirwa. It means something like, to the teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni Buddha, I prostrate. So that's the meaning of that. Then along with the mantra of the Buddha, the Migtsema, and the concise mantra of Lama Tsongkhapa. So this is the sort of longer tsengak of the Buddha and the concise Sanskrit mantra of the Buddha. So now Lama Tsongkhapa's mantras. So Geshe-la remembers receiving this particular mantra from the Ganden Tripa when he was very young. When he went to see the Ganden Tripa at that time gave him the oral transmission of this mantra, and he said it is through the essence of this mantra that the Buddha achieved enlightenment. So you should recite this mantra as much as possible. So this is the Migtsema mantra, and then the concise name mantra in Sanskrit of Lama Tsongkhapa. I know folks get nervous about this, so I'm just going to mention it. Sometimes there's one hum at the end, sometimes there's two hums at the end. Don't stress about it. Both are very common. So this Migtsema praise in particular, Geshe-la said, this is regarded as the supreme form of supplication or request. So when you're experiencing difficulties, obstacles, illness, and so forth in your life, actually the Migtsema prayer is one of the best, most powerful things to recite. And there's a lot of history and information behind the Migtsema mantra, but today we are short of time, so Geshe-la will explain that on another occasion. So generally we need love, compassion, we need wisdom and power, and so all of these can be achieved through the supreme mantra of Migtsema. So the Buddha, of course, we know that he propounded hundreds and thousands of teachings. And within those hundreds and thousands of teachings, we could say that their essence, we could say, in fact, the essence of the essence, whether we think about sutra, whether we think about tantra, the essence of the essence is this practice of the three principal aspects of the path. So all of the other practices are merely branches, and it is these three principal aspects of the path, renunciation, definite emergence, bodhicitta, and the correct view of emptiness, that are the essential practice. So when one is a Vajrayana or tantric practitioner, if one has not trained in these minds of definite emergence, bodhicitta, and the correct view, one may be practicing tantra, but it is not a Buddhist tantra, that one is practicing.
다 된지 자 인지 메지 당안조 다 론지 조 nom바서 된조 메용 되네 라마 Tsongkhapa 니 소소는 임보서 때요 데리 되네 연다 그건 되나 나지 로르 침보 좀이가 일로지야.
Yeah. So there is in one of the Lamrim texts the history of how this text of the Lamso Namsum, the three principal aspects of the path, came about, right? And it was a teaching that was passed to Lama Tsongkhapa from Manjushri. Lama Tsongkhapa was kind of, I guess, peppering Manjushri, the Buddha of wisdom, with questions, and then Manjushri said, you know, I have taught you renunciation, definite emergence, bodhicitta, and the correct view of emptiness. Tell me, what is there other than this that needs to be cultivated? And so then Lama Tsongkhapa said that, yes, you know, this is the very heart of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, and the correct view of emptiness. However, in order to stabilize these three, I am going to engage and I am going to compose a vaster text to expand on them. So, you know, it's really important to understand what the heart or the essence of practice is, and in fact it is these three things. So then Geshe-la is now going to transmit the three principal aspects of the path.
gtso Lama gtso Lama no la lonjo zo no sen zawa ju so sa gtso Lama no la shang za lo ja yi su ra gen je nin bi ja se to ma no je nga bi lo ka de tan de no jun jun ji da ni je da ge xie ba sha.
So the first verse, the very essence of all the Buddha's teachings, the path that is praised by the noble bodhisattvas, and the entrance for all fortunate ones desiring liberation, to the best of my ability, I shall set forth. This is the oath to compose the text. So the very essence of all the Buddha's teachings, the path that is praised by the noble bodhisattvas, and the entrance for all fortunate ones desiring liberation. So what is the essence? What is the path? What is the entrance? Geshe-la says really it's renunciation, bodhicitta, and the correct view of emptiness. If you want to make that vaster, there's ways to do that, but we won't do that right now. You who are unattached to samsara's pleasures and strive to make full use of the freedoms and advantages, you who follow the path delighting all the Buddhas, fortunate ones, listen well with a clear and open mind. So Geshe-la said this is really an exhortation, right? Not to be kind of immersed in the pleasures of a samsara or cyclic existence, but to seek a happiness which is beyond samsara. So if you need that happiness that is beyond samsara, the happiness of that liberation, what do you need to achieve? And so, by the way, I'm using the Lotsawa House translation. Sorry, I know there's many different translations of this. So, you need to cultivate renunciation. So, verse number 3. Whilst lacking pure renunciation, there is no way to pacify the continual thirst for pleasure in the ocean of samsara. And since all living beings are bound by their craving for existence, you must begin by finding the determination to be free. So what it's saying here really is by contemplating the faults of samsara and thinking of the benefits of liberation, we want to bring forth the mind that definitely strives towards that liberation, that moksha. So when we speak about renunciation, ngenjung, or really the literal translation is definite emergence, we shouldn't just think about that word literally. We should think about the mind that it's talking about. And the mind that it's talking about is a mind that definitely strives towards liberation. This is how it's explained.
렌데말 거의 등어는 용용서나 시민 노제 나중 거 거야 니야레스.
Loso.
센디게 대시 집어는 거 거야지.
Loso.
시와 시민 하도 뭐 공부 대시 집어는 거 거야 니 거도 야레스.
So we go to the next verse. The freedoms and advantages are rare and there's no time to waste. Reflect on this again and again and dispel attachment to this life. To dispel attachment to your future lives, contemplate repeatedly the unfailing effects of karma and the sufferings of samsara. So Geshe is saying that what Tsongkhapa is identifying here is the two kind of fixations that prevent us from reaching liberation. The first is the fixation on the happiness of this lifetime alone, and the second is the fixation on merely achieving higher rebirth as a human or deva.
인진이 그건 되었어. 센데게 더 거의 대시라 잡으니까 뭐 대링 인주지. 시와 시민게 되는 거의 대시라 잡이 다 대리
So then, actually, there's two types of renunciation that we need to cultivate here, right? We need the renunciation that definitely emerges from the fixation on the happiness of this life, and we need the renunciation that definitely emerges on the fixation of merely seeking the advantages of future lives. Yeah. So the verse is kind of the half and half. The first half talking about this life and the next one future lifetimes. Yeah, ngapa. Verse number 5, when through growing accustomed to thinking in this way, hope for the pleasure of samsara no longer arises even for an instant, and throughout both day and night you long for liberation, then at that time true renunciation has been born. Say. Right. So Geshe said verse number 5, that's the measure of having established this renunciation or definite emergence. Geshe said it doesn't mean that you need to be feeling that all the time, 24 hours. That's not the measure. It means you've had that experience that is expressed here. Verse number 6, if this renunciation is not embraced by the pure motivation of bodhicitta, it will not become a cause for the perfect bliss of unsurpassed awakening, so the wise should generate supreme bodhicitta. So this is a warning, right? That renunciation in and of itself, if we don't cultivate bodhicitta in addition to that, not only will we not be able to contribute to the welfare of others, but even our own personal welfare is not fully taken care of. So therefore, we have to make sure that our practice is imbued or infused with bodhicitta. So verse number 7, beings are swept along by the powerful current of the four rivers, tightly bound by the chains of their karma, so difficult to undo, ensnared within this iron trap of their self-grasping, and enshrouded in the thick darkness of ignorance. So Geshe said these can be understood of the four rivers from the point of view of the cause, from the point of view of the effect. There's different ways of explaining these. So one way to understand them, the four rivers, from the point of view of the result, right, is the kewa, chiwa, nawa, dang. All right. The sufferings of birth, the sufferings of age, the sufferings of disease, and the sufferings of death. Until we achieve the state of freedom of liberation within our minds, these four rivers of birth, aging, and so forth are going to continue to flow. And understanding that all sentient beings also experience these four rivers, then we must bring forth love, compassion, and so forth for them. Verse number 8. Again and yet again they are reborn in limitless samsara and constantly tormented by the three forms of suffering. This is the current condition of all your mothers from previous lives. Contemplate their plight and generate supreme bodhicitta. So then, through thinking about the three different types of suffering, suffering of change, and the all-pervasive or compounded suffering, not only do we contemplate that for ourselves, but through contemplating how others experience it, it is a way to bolster our love and compassion for them. So what you'll notice in the structure of the text is we covered 3 verses that are speaking about definite emergence, renunciation, 3 verses that are speaking about bodhicitta, and the balance of the verses, so that means from 9 through 14, is about the wisdom realizing emptiness. So this shows us the supreme importance of the wisdom realizing emptiness. So we can think about it like this. Renunciation and bodhicitta, they establish this beautiful path that we can walk along. But if we don't bring forth wisdom realizing emptiness, we're not going to be able to identify the potholes, the rocks, the thorns, and the other dangerous things and clear them away from the path. And if we understand this perspective, then we can understand how ultimately temporary and ultimate happiness is fully secured only when we bring forth this wisdom realizing emptiness. Verse 9, if you lack the wisdom that realizes the nature of things, although you might grow accustomed to renunciation and bodhicitta, you will be incapable of cutting through conditioned existence at its root. Exert yourself, therefore, in the methods for realizing interdependence. So Geshe-la said that so then Geshe-la said that therefore exert yourself in the methods for realizing interdependence or dependent arising. The fact that Lama Tsongkhapa said dependent arising rather than emptiness here is very significant. Yeah. So the reason is because when we say emptiness of inherent existence, it's easy to fall into a nihilistic view that says, therefore, there is nothing that exists at all. To preempt that, to prevent that, Lama Tsongkhapa here is pointing to dependent arising. So because things lack true existence, but at the same time they function, it doesn't mean that they are not there at all. To be able to understand how this comes together, we need to exert ourselves in the methods for realizing interdependence. And this was also advice that the Buddha of Wisdom Manjushri gave to Lama Tsongkhapa himself. When he saw that Tsongkhapa was kind of veering into a view that was more nihilistic, he said, put aside for the moment emptiness and focus on the interdependent appearances, right? He gave him that advice.
Geshe Sonam dese tade tege kuma to ba me no shirin ju me ba ji de ten mal to wa sonyen nge shi jen zo go sha na dese dai je ba zo ba la wa jen no ye da se wa to me me da se je to ma je to je ba cha ye se sha na ta ta zi dai ju ba men ju ro de da long ju zo no se jen de no rong ge je de be yan ba den de zen ji do shen de den jen de ma ne de zhe xi bo ji ban de na mo de ti bi ge long lo zo zha bi ba je cha lo de cha bi
差别。
lo 边bo我找比
So then Geshe-la has completed the oral transmission of this text by reciting verses 11 through 14. The text ends with a colophon reading. This advice was given by the bhikshu of extensive learning, Losang Jagbe Pel, to Tsako Umpo Ngawang Jagba. So Geshe-la said that actually this person who is mentioned here, Tsako Umpo Ngawang Jagpa, was a very famous disciple of Lama Tsongkhapa who is said to have established 100 jadangje, 108 monasteries. Lama de la Chökhor kare? Sanjene? So also Lama Tsongkhapa promised that when I reach complete enlightenment, the first disciple that I will bestow my blessings upon is Tsako Umpo Ngawang Jagpa, so a very significant student of Lama Tsongkhapa. Yeah. So Geshe-la said it's a little bit like Tsako Umpo Ngawang Jagpa is like those, we mark this occasion of Chökhor Düchen with the 5 disciples, the 5 first disciples of the Buddha, who the Buddha conferred the blessing of his realization on. It's like he is like those 5 disciples. So Geshe-la said to mark this special holy occasion, then he has transmitted the vows as well as the blessings of these texts. And then what we want to do is to bring forth a joyful mind. And bring forth a joyful mind, intending starting today, I'm going to bring forth more joyous effort in my practice. I'm going to be more effortful. And if you do this with the correct approach, from day to day, as you study and practice, you will experience your happiness increasing. And when we are able to calm our mind and establish it in a state of peace, this will have a benefit for our physical health as well, right? This is something very important. So, really, whatever hearing, contemplation, and meditation that you have done up to now, just bring forth the aspiration that I'm going to stabilize and increase these as much as possible. So then, with this in mind, bring forth joy as we dedicate the merits. So let us close with the dedication of the merits. Oh, yeah. Changcho Zemcho Rinpoche Maje Banam Chejorji Chewa Nyamba Meba Yang Gone Gondu Pewa Sho Tongni Tawa Rinpoche Maje Banam Chejorji Chewa Nyamba Meba Yang Gone Gondu Pewa Sho Gangri, Jambe Bao Jida Kemba Dang Gundu Zambo De On De Jin De Da Gungi Jesu Da Lo Jir Gewa Dida Tangje Radungo Dusu Shebe Gewa Tangje Gi Ngowa Gangla Chodu Ngaba De Dagi Gewe Tsawa Digun Kyang Zambo Joji Radungo Wargi Gangri Rawe Kowe Jinkam De Pendang Dewa Malu Jongwe Ne Chenre Ziwan Tenzin Jazo Yi Shape Side Bardu Tenjoji. So we will pause it there. Thank you.
chico dice calanga zulakado moboyartenis choroso.
Yeah, so Geshe said he knows that on Chökhor Düchen, the wheel turning day, like many people have lots of extra things to do. We have extra things to do, but it was so nice that we could share this brief time together. So thank you, and with a joyful mind, enjoy the rest of this holy day. So take care, everybody. And there is class on Sunday, as usual, at 10 a.m. if you're free. Take care, everyone. Yeah, the way to meditate is all going to be explained tomorrow with the text tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.